Fans and fandoms are an important part of popular culture on a global scale. Due to the rapid proliferation of technology, fans are now able to connect with each other online, forming imagined communities. In recent years, the word stan has been circling the internet at an alarming rate. But what even are stans? Well, according to Whitehead 2017, a stan can be described as an overzealous, die-hard fan. They are self-proclaimed obsessive and dedicated to their chosen interest. Twitter has been the predominant culprit for toxic stan activities due to the platform's emphasis on short punchy posts, resharing tweets, and threads, which are a series of connected tweets. This creates an imagined community online, fostering group cohesion and collective identity, perfect for fandoms to rise and thrive. In this presentation, I am going to do a comparative study to analyse both Western and Asian stan practices. After comparing results, a deeper understanding on the toxic nature of stan culture in modern-day society will be formed. On the Western end of the spectrum, my main point of focus is going to be the popular culture icons, the Kardashians, and in particular, Kendall Jenner. The family are notorious for being in the limelight a little too often, and for divisive reasons. But with that aside, they genuinely have amassed an army of stans as well. In 2017, family member Kendall Jenner was subject to her stans turning against her in a single Twitter thread. A fan account named Kendall Updates posted a Twitter thread naming the 14 reasons why the stans had decided to turn against her. The reasons ranged from cultural appropriation, racism, and a Pepsi ad where Jenner appeared to be fetishizing black men. This is a prime example of the way collective identity can be constructed within cyberspace to tear someone else down. It also demonstrates the rapid conception of cancel culture and toxic normalization of stan culture online. Another notable example of cancel culture as a flow-on effect of stan culture was when writer Warner Thompson received a barrage of hate from Nicki Minaj's stans called Barbs. The stans stopped at nothing to bring Thompson down, which resulted in her losing an internship and considering therapy. Stan culture in Asian countries is arguably even more prevalent than in Western societies. This can be mainly deduced to one key driver, K-pop. Remember that Gangnam Style craze? Well, that's an example of the virality of K-pop. After some research, I quickly learned the darker side of K-pop and the toxic nature of the staning culture around it. One major issue relating to stans is their overly supportive nature, which may be proving to do more harm than good. An example of this is reflected in a K-pop crime cartel known as Burning Sun Gate, which featured an array of adored artists that were proven to be a part of a group chat that engaged in sexually assaulting women. The harrowing part of this story is that their stans continued to defend their idols, furthering their undying support for such unforgivable crimes. These practices are polar opposites to cancel culture, but I would argue are worse for society. Moreover, the action of standing is essentially a pack mentality phenomenon in which individuals may only be a part of it in order to feel connectedness within these imagined communities. Another toxic trait found within K-pop stan culture is their tendency to spam platforms such as Twitter with hashtags in order for their hashtag to trend. This inevitably maximizes audience exposure to their idols and their idols' ideals. Now, this is all well and good, but when it comes to spamming Twitter with their political motives, that is a different kettle of fish. A recent political activism stunt relating to the Trump re-election made waves in the headlines. However, the topic of this story is not to be noted. It's the sheer fact that stans have power. Hell, they even disabled government surveillance on the Black Lives Matter protest by flooding the Twitter hashtags with fan cams, videos of their idols. What can't they do? In conclusion, there is certainly found to be a discrepancy in stan practices worldwide. Western stans appear quick to cancel their idols, whereas Asian stans defend their idols' bad behaviour. The toxic nature of virtual imagined communities online has resulted in a standing generation that inevitably would benefit from being less consumed in social media usage.